Hey, it's Pierre. I got a review today of the Salming Adder court shoes. I'm gonna walk you through them. Big thanks to Stefan from racketguys.com for sending me these shoes to review for you all. I've been playing with them for several weeks now, and I'm gonna give you my feedback. So prior to this, I've used a lot of different Salming shoes. I've used the race models, the R2 and R1. I've used the Viper and the Cobra. So I'm gonna try to tell you about some of the differences. The Adder, I think, came out last year, and it was supposed to, I think it was the least expensive shoe in the Salming lineup. And they said in the marketing that it was based on the Viper model, and I think that pans out to be true. I'm gonna show you a comparison in a second, but first, let me show you these beauties. So we got kind of a nice color scheme going on here, a little bit of Swedish colors for the Swedish brand. We got Adder, and we have sort of this clear plastic exoskeleton. That's the support that is in a lot of shoes, in a lot of Salming shoes, the way that kind of grid shape is, and in here is sort of a soft mesh. We have regular insole. I've worn off the Salming logo on these, but we've got a regular Salming insole, and they look nice, actually. Sometimes Salmings have really loud color schemes, which I enjoy, but these are kind of intermediate, I would say. In terms of wear, they started to wear, this is my left shoe, and this is exactly where I normally wear my toes as I drag them. It's shaved off the color pretty immediately, but there's been no structural damage. It's only been a few weeks. Sometimes I'll use these for a year and do a review, so we'll have to see how they pan out over time, but I wanted to give you guys a quick look at these. We got the Swedish flag up there, and they're comfortable. They had very good grip, as all Salming shoes have had in my experience. They had good lateral stability. It was good, moving forward and side to side. So the grip was excellent, and they feel pretty light. I'll weigh them in a second and put the number right here. They're about the same weight as the Vipers. I actually just weighed them a second ago, and I already forget the number. But they were about 10 grams heavier than the Vipers I have here. But I just played in these 10 minutes ago, and these have been sitting in my closet for months, so these will have some sweat in them. Isn't that nice? Right, so the comparison between this and the Viper. Now with the Viper, my recollection, it's been a while since I used these, and my recollection of these shoes is that they felt, I guess everyone's foot is their own, you gotta think about what works for you, but they felt kind of flat inside. I don't get that same feeling inside from the Adder. I feel they're kind of lower on the heel, but I do feel my arches are supported, and I feel that I feel comfortable as as my heel strikes. So I do want to say that although I'm going to show you they look very similar in the design, the Adders actually felt more comfortable to me than the Vipers. I like these well enough, but I like the Adders a little better. So in terms of structurally, they're pretty similar. Well, let me show you. Show you two left shoes, so that's easier to compare. Right. So we've got a similar design here in terms of kind of the outer front part of the sole here, and the design is quite similar. One construction difference is here on the side, or sort of the insole, I guess. In the Adder, it's just sort of this one piece, and it's all this kind of cushioning all the way through. With the Viper, it had this little cutout piece, and it's a bit of a harder plastic. And honestly, I couldn't tell much of a difference there. It seems like the Adder is sort of a simpler design, and then this part is slightly different. In the Viper, it's this cutout, and the Adder is again sort of one piece. So I don't know if those are some of the construction differences that made the Adder less expensive. Little touches like that. Also, in the Adder, you have that exoskeleton on the it's on the outside, whereas with the Viper, it's sort of mesh and then the exoskeleton and then some more mesh. So that's a little bit different. And this, I'm just noticing it now actually, on the Viper you've got a bit more coverage here with the harder piece of fabric, and that ends sooner with the Adder. And I'm seeing a little wear and tear right there where I would drag my foot on the left inner. Although this hard plastic on the Adder seems a little more sturdy in this toe drag area. So a few minor differences, and they both have, I think, the same kind of low heel drop compared to other Salming shoes. Like the Cobra has a higher heel drop, I think, and felt that way. These felt a bit lower to the ground on my heels. What else can I tell you? Oh, this is a bit of a strange comment, but the other Salmings, I don't have them with me, that I have kind of like metal holes, metal rings where the laces go through, and both the Viper and the Adder have just regular cut material there. And the only thing that I noticed was that it was hard to tighten the shoes. I had to kind of really fiddle with it, whereas the other Salming shoes, the Cobra has these little plastic, fabric hooks so you can really pull the laces and just cinch the shoe up really quickly. And then the race models have little metal rings there that does a similar thing. And this took a bit more fidgeting, but it was fine once I did it. It was just something I noticed in comparison to the, I guess, higher end Salming shoes. And the other thing I noticed was that there was this little bit of fabric sticking out. I think it's just a little bit of a sewing error. Can't even find it right now. It was sort of this little bit of fabric was sticking out there. I just stuffed it in there and haven't heard from it since. So all in all, I've liked the Adder. I will have to see how it does in terms of longevity, and I'll do a follow-up review later for that. But so far, it looks cool, grip is cool, comfortable, feels light, and I have been enjoying it. So that is the Salming Adder.